Another summer day. Caught a vibe from across the way. Yeah, it's just another summer day.
You don't have a software, tool, or subscription problem. You have a communication problem. Some of you are paying hundreds of dollars a month for tools that don't talk to each other. This creates what is called a ghost in the machine, an invisible clog that prevents data from working on your behalf. When your software doesn't communicate, you become the integration, the plug, if you will. You are effectively paying to be a data entry clerk in your own business. Join me for an elite workshop, The Ghost in the Machine. No, this is not a software demo. This is an architectural strategy session. We're going to whiteboard your entire tech stack, from lead capture to fulfillment, and expose exactly where your system is dying. Don't have a tech stack or know what that is? If you're in business for yourself in 2026, you need to. So I know I'll see you there. Together, we'll identify the manual tasks clogging your system and replace them with silent solutions. You don't need more apps, you need architecture. Click the link to secure your briefing. It's time to connect the dots.
Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you staying on the basketball court so much? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it.
Storm. Hey yo, you ever had to punch a clock up at sunrise, getting to it, keep the kitchen stocked? Like Dr. King had a dream, yeah, you got one too. And that's do what you gotta do to stay off the block. Cause you ain't got to fucking know to be standing in the cold, looking up and down the streets, running from the cops. You got another little baby on the way any day, ducking strays ain't the play, cause you got ops. Plus when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you can't eat or sleep, cause you hardwired to run your numbers up. Feels like bad luck. Be on your heels 24/7 trying to keep you stuck. Quitting this ain't an option, cause them little babies watching, and you can't stand to let them see they daddy in the dirt. So for better or for worse, or the day you see a hearse, whichever come first, it ain't no question, you gon' make it work. Yeah, a different tale saying hustle, clench your fist if you will, pushing back against the struggle. It's game time. Going back's not an option, so you tick it and you talking till you popping like a buck. Stay on your grind. To all the soldiers in the field and my sisters, staying trill, stay away from them pills. Keep a bag on your mind, so never mind what they saying. You hustling, they playing. You gotta go get yours. I'm out here getting mine. Only in your early 20s. Had 2 times a mama. Still a lady, raising babies, staying out the drama. But every time you turn around, there's some hoes talking down. You say moving presidential, like your name Obama. Ain't trying to be Michelle, don't wanna see a sale. But you can and will, out your respect, mama. No pleading to your honor, but if they trip, it's trauma. Get they ass some karma, sit back and blow some ganja. But they ain't worth it, baby, them bitches steady hating. While you been paper chasing, girl, you finally made it. Yeah, you doing good, moved all about the hood. Saw the opportunity, took it with no hesitation. Pointing at you like a whale, like they out on for sale. No one to blame, but they sell for procrastination. But in a year 3, you'll have a new degree. Them hanging around like some dead flies stuck on fly paper. Fuck a different tale, same hustle. Split your fist if you with it, pushing back against the struggle. It's game time. Going back's not an option, so you take it and you talk it till you pop it like a bubble. Stay on your grind. To all the souls in the field, and my sister staying true. Stay away from them pigs and keep a bag on your mind. So never mind what they saying. You hustling, they playing. You gotta go get yours. I'm out here getting mine. Different tale, same hustle. Set your fist if you with it, pushing back against the struggle. Game time. Going back is not an option, so you take it and you talk it till you pop it like a bubble. Stay on your grind. To all the souls in the field, and my sister staying real. Stay away from them pigs. Keep a bag on your mind. Never mind what they saying. You hustling, they playing. You gotta go get yours. I'm out here getting mine.
Yo, what's good? YouTube. Shout out to everybody in YouTube land. If y'all don't know, now you know. It's your homie, your brother from another mother, the one and only Mr. Legit Hustle, man. And we back, y'all. Yeah, we back in the building. And we finna talk about some real spill tonight. We're gonna talk about turning mental wealth into real world assets. Exactly what that means. How do you do that? What if you don't have any mental wealth? Or what if you don't think you have any mental wealth, I should say? Well, we're gonna dig into it tonight, man. You might be surprised at what you find. You might have more at your disposal that has way more value than you may currently recognize, right? So this isn't gonna be a philosophical discussion. We're not gonna be talking about some kumbaya, feel good, manifestation type conversation. That's not what we on. We talking about real world hustling, man. We talking about real world business. Making money in the real world, building wealth in the real world. This is Legit Hustle, and this is the channel for the hustlers, man. And that's what we talk about over here, right? We talk about real things from the average person's perspective, from your homie, your brother, Mr. Legit Hustle. So with that being said, man, if it's your first time tuning in, welcome. Feel free to holler at me in the chat. But I don't like to do no lot of fluff with my presentations, man. So we're gonna go and get into talking about this topic. All right, so at this point, we're all familiar with the fact that we live in a digital world and that knowledge in the digital world is power. But have you ever realized that in the digital world, your knowledge is actually untapped currency? What you know is like having the Federal Reserve Bank in your mind. The problem is, how do you translate that intangible knowledge that you have or expertise that you have into something tangible? Real world wealth, assets, things that you can touch, hold, spend, grow, right? No spiritual alchemy, no hocus pocus, no special skills needed. Just you, your knowledge, your expertise, what you're good at, what you know more than the average person in any particular field. And how do you translate that again into real world wealth? So this is the story. I wanted to do this presentation a little bit different. I didn't want to just present the information like I normally do. I actually want to turn this into more like a storytelling type of presentation, right? So we're going to go through the journey of a hypothetical entrepreneur, an expert in any random field. You know, it can be whatever you imagine it to be. This person is knowledgeable. They're a trusted source of information. They're the go-to person in that field. They may be the barber or hairstylist. And they may be the person in their city that when people have questions about their hair or what they should do for this, that, or other, they're the go-to person. They're the person to ask. And you know what's ironic? Coming from that background as a barber and having been considered a knowledgeable person, a professional at my craft, you know what's ironic? People will ask you questions and get suggestions from you when they know you're knowledgeable about something, but they may not necessarily patronize your business, right? So it's crazy. I hope the music isn't too loud for everybody. If it is, somebody let me know. I just kind of want to like kick it in the background, make this a smooth, grown folks type of session, you know? But yeah, man, sometimes people trust you as a source of information or expertise, and they may not necessarily patronize your business, but they know that you're a person that knows, right? Well, how do you turn that into something real? That's what we're talking about. That's today's topic, turning our mental knowledge and wealth into real world assets. So this is the paradox, the brilliant but broke paradox. All right, in this story, our superhero is an expert that everybody calls for advice. They're the one with the answers to everything. They're like a walking Encyclopedia Brown. I don't know if y'all ever read Encyclopedia Brown books back in the day, but I was a nerd like that. So I used to read Encyclopedia Brown books in elementary school. And Encyclopedia Brown was like that. He was like that kid in the story, like he knew everything about everything. You know anybody like that? Like they own it in their particular field or their craft. They're the go-to person, like I said. If you got a question or concern about something, they're the go-to person. Well, that's the hero in this story. They're brilliant. Everybody knows they're brilliant. And they don't mind sharing their expertise. But they broke. How is it that so many of us are extremely knowledgeable in our fields, right? We have very good reputations in whatever industry we may be in. But why do so many times the money not reflect that same recognition? If you're the go-to person, if you're the top dog in any category, beyond your personal skill level, we're talking about expertise here, what you know about what it is that you do. The people who come to you may advise may be other professionals in your industry, right? So if you're that person, if you have that level of expertise or that level of knowledge in whatever your industry is, why is it that so many of us struggle to translate that into actual money, into tangible goods, into tangible assets? They give away valuable information. I've done it. You've done it. We give away valuable information in day-to-day conversations, quick text message from somebody. Hey man, how do you do such and such? And you know how to whatever. You're the go-to person. You're knowledgeable. You're an expert in your field. But with all that wealth of mental knowledge, your bank account don't reflect it. If you've ever been there, put your hands up. I would ask if y'all still there, but I'd have to put my hand back up. And this is my show, so I can't be talking about it and then be admitting to y'all that I know exactly what they talking about. Hell, I'm in a very similar situation right now, right? Our bank account don't necessarily reflect the wealth of knowledge and the intelligence or the expertise that we may have in our field. So tonight we finna get into it, man. We're gonna talk about how we change that. How you start turning that mental wealth into tangible goods. So let's start off like this. Imagine this is the problem. Let's break that paradox that we were just talking about in the previous slide down. Imagine you're holding a gold bar. You're at a grocery store. You got a buggy full of goods, right? But when you get up to the counter, you can't pay for any of those goods with the gold bar because they only take cash and credit. And gold doesn't qualify as either one of those. So you got a buggy full of things that you need to purchase for yourself and your family. You got a gold bar. It's extremely valuable. It's worth way more than everything in that buggy. But you still can't leave with the groceries. That's what we're talking about. Having a wealth of knowledge. That gold bar is the knowledge. It's the information that you have, the years of expertise that you have accumulated in your particular field. Shalom. Let me see. It's still a little bit daylight out there. Shabbat shalom to my brother Smash and Idol in the building. What's going on, broski, man? I'm glad you're here. Thanks for pulling up on me, man. So you have a wealth of knowledge. You have a lot of things that you could potentially do, but you don't know how to translate it. There's no way to turn all that wealth up here into something that could pay for those groceries in the buggy. You have the expertise, the insights, you know how to solve the problems that the particular customers in the field might face. Your knowledge is specialized. If you're like me, you probably invested years, hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars into education in your particular field, attending workshops, attending seminars, watching YouTube presentations like this one to become proficient in your business, in whatever that industry may be, right? But your bank account doesn't reflect that. You get more thank yous than you do direct deposits, right? Recognition is cool. Social validation is cool. People might share your information on social media, but it don't translate into revenue generated dollars in the bank. So this is like cognitive dissonance. If you're familiar with what cognitive dissonance is, this is that same experience. You're an expert, you're rich in knowledge, but poor in assets. That's the paradox, right? That a lot of us find ourselves in. We invest in our knowledge, we invest in our expertise. We invest in what it is that, whatever that thing may be. We paid the cost to be the boss. We paid our dues in that field, in that industry, right? Well, if you want your balance sheet and your bank account to reflect that, raise your hand. All right then, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about that tonight. At Legit Hustle, like I said, I don't really do theoretical. Any presentation that I do, we're gonna talk about real solutions, real things that you can actually do, not pie in the sky dreams, not super oversimplified promises, just real world things that you can do starting today to actually implement the things that we're gonna be talking about. All right. So in today's world in business, it doesn't matter if you're the smartest person. Most millionaires were C students in school. If you look at some of the CEOs of the largest tech companies in the world, a lot of them don't even finish college. So the grades, the academic achievements, at this point, all of us should already know that that's not what actually moves the wheel. That's not what actually moves the needle for us individually, financially, for ourselves, for our families. But here's a secret that they also don't teach you. Your knowledge is data. We are in the information age. Matter of fact, I would say we have evolved from just the information age to the data age. Your knowledge is data. And right now, in our lifetime, data is the most valuable asset class in the 21st century. Why do you think they're building data centers all over the world? I'm pretty sure they have nefarious intentions for those that technical capability, but it's not all for nefarious intentions. Having the right type of data is like having millions of dollars in the bank, billions of dollars in the bank. Real world example. I've spoke about this on Legit Hustle before, but for those who this may be the first time tuning in, I'm gonna reiterate it. Smash, you were here before we talked about this. If I was to ask you, what is the business that Facebook is in, that Meta is in? What is the business that X is in? Most people would say social media, but that's not correct. These are all data companies. Data is their business. A social media platform, X, Facebook, Instagram, any of them you think of, they give you a free account to set up on their platform. You can post all the content you want. Hell, some of them will even pay you to put content on their platform, and they give you all this capability for free. How does a company that gives away millions, sometimes it maybe even billions of free accounts to people, how is that company worth billions of dollars? Simple. Because the business model isn't based on connecting people. That's the mechanism for collecting data. They are in the business of data. Data is money in the 21st century. And if you are an expert to any degree, if you're a knowledgeable professional to any degree in your field, there's a way for you to literally translate that mental data into real world tangible assets, cash, revenue, equity. It's possible now because we live in a digital age. The key is, how do you do that? Right? You got all this information, all this knowledge, all this expertise in your mind, but it's just sitting there. It's not generating any return for you as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, as a business owner. It's not doing anything for you. It's just sitting in your head. You know it, but what are you supposed to do with it? Especially if you're in the service base. If you're in a service-based business, if you're in the service industry, one of the biggest challenges that small business owners and self-employed people in service industries have is making the transition from learning how to generate revenue for yourself that doesn't require you to provide the service, right? If you're a massage therapist, you don't make money unless you provide a massage. You might sell some products, but you didn't get licensed to become a retail person at a massage or a spa, right? You took the time and got the expertise in order to perform the service. Well, when it comes to translating your knowledge into real world assets, monetizing them, if you will, you have to kind of make a shift. Matter of fact, not even kind of. You do have to make a shift in your mindset and understand that it is possible to generate revenue in your industry, even though it's service-based, without having to perform a service. And I want to let that marinate for a second because I don't want that to go over anybody's head. Let's use the massage therapist right quick as an example. Sometimes in the service industry, there's this tendency to overlook the capability of technology because your money is generated based on what you do, right? On you performing the service. You're the revenue generator in a service-based business, right? but it locks you into the mentality of working, performing a physical manual service in exchange for money. It locks you into that one paradigm, that one model, that one way of making money. In a digital world, in the 21st century, in 2026, that is a small way, and it's a very limited way. One of the biggest limits of being in a service-based industry that limits how much you can personally generate on your own in that business is it's limited by your personal physical ability to perform the service. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to go home. You can't perform massages 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's that immediate limitation on how much money you can actually generate in that particular industry if you're basing generating your money on performing the services, right? So to comprehend and really get what this presentation is about, you need to kind of click a switch and remind yourself that performing the service and getting paid for it is only one way of making money. As a service provider, there are other ways, right? Smash says, part of owning your own could be this. Quotes the scripture, Isaiah 33:6. In that day, he will be your sure foundation, providing a rich store of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. The fear of Yah will be your treasure. So I'll include that into the presentation by saying it this way. I have never felt like it was the Most High's will for us to necessarily work for other people. Is that necessary? Yes, at times in our life, sometimes most of our life, it may be necessary. But I don't think that was the intended will or purpose for us as individuals, because all of us have too many abilities. We have too much capability. We have too much creativity, right? Well, what happens is we live in a world that we get narrowed, we get pigeonholed into being employees in order to survive. And that doesn't necessarily allow a person to tap into that creativity or that problem solving ability or that humor that they have that makes them enjoyable to watch when it comes to creating social media content or whatever, right? So we live in a world, we live in an economic system that limits our ability to express ourselves, to use our mental assets the way I think we're actually intended to. So for me personally, that's one of the reasons that I became the type of person that I am. I just never really wanted to be the person who had to work for somebody else. I just wanted to do my own thing and do it my way, right? I guess I looked at it like freedom. I guess it may be a type of freedom, but I wanted that type of freedom to be able to decide, what I was going to spend my time doing. How much of my creativity did I get to use in my day-to-day life? And the only way I could see doing that was I had to work for myself. I had to be in control of what it is that I did to make money. So I've always had that hustler's mentality to get it on my own. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you all are that way. I hope so anyway, because this is legit hustle. So I hope everybody that watches my content is a hustler. And when I say hustler, I don't mean doing anything criminal. I mean, you got to be about your business, man. I'm 46. I don't know how old you are, but hopefully you grown enough to have some business to attend to. So when you grown, you got to handle your business. And I consider that makes you a hustler, whatever that may be. If you handling your shit, you a hustler to me, But some of us choose to go out there and get it on our own. This particular presentation is interesting because it actually probably would have been better on the SMB podcast, since that's more business specific, right? I talk about more business specific topics on SMB. But I decided to do this on legit motivation because this excites me. Like, without being too techie and too specific and making things too complicated for people to actually enjoy the presentation and get anything from it. I don't think people realize just how valuable what I'm talking about is, but I will tell you who do know. BlackRock knows. Palantir knows. I'm gonna use cryptocurrency to illustrate something. Right now, a lot of people think crypto is a scam. They think NFTs are for scammers. And they totally missed the point because it's not about any of those things. It's about blockchain, which is the technology that crypto and NFTs and DeFi apps and all those things are built on. Blockchain, right? Blockchain gives you the ability to tokenize anything, meaning you can convert anything that you own into a digital asset. You want to know why Bill Gates is buying thousands of acres that he's not going to farm? Because he's tokenizing the land to hold the wealth, to hold the value of that land long term because of a term called secured contracts, which is how you conduct transactions on the blockchain. Right now, BlackRock, the largest corporation in the world, hedge funds, they are tokenizing everything they can get their hands on. That is a large scale version of what I'm talking about, what I'm introducing to some people maybe for the first time as a concept. That is what this topic is actually about. How do you turn something intangible? You can turn your intellectual property into a real asset through tokenization, copyrights, trademarks. And once you get into dealing with intellectual property, there are so many ways that you can monetize that and grow wealth, especially if you own a corporation or something that has a vehicle to hold the wealth, aka a stock certificate. And if you understand how corporations get their value, if you're familiar with 409 valuations, then you know in order to be $1 million company, you don't have to have $1 million in revenue. You need the proper valuation. You could honestly generate $100,000 a year, and if you have it set up properly, you would have $1 million company, right? But that requires getting the proper documentation, corporate structure, 409 valuations, doing it the right way. Smash, I think you was here the other day when I was doing a presentation. I was saying I was 40 some years old when I learned that there was a difference between having a business and running a company, right? Anytime you're exchanging goods and services for money, that by definition is you're conducting business. But that is very different from running a company. Once I learned that was where I learned, oh, okay, so this is how you use your business to grow wealth. You have to run a company. You have to learn how to run a company. Right? So if you have an expertise in any area, my number one tip would be, do you have any intellectual property rights? If not, why not? Anything you come up with, even your content on social media, you should have some type of way of documenting that you own that content because it has value. A lot of times, because we're in this era of free social media accounts, we don't understand the value of the content that we make. So we give away so much of our value because they gave us a free account. Yes, because they know the value of your content. The problem is we don't understand the value of our content. Once you start getting into intellectual properties And remember, we're in the age of blockchain and tokenization of real world assets. Those copyrights, those trademarks are real world assets. You store them, you keep them in your family. And that's how you grow wealth. You build the value of those assets. That's what we're talking about. That asset, because of the technology that we have, can be as specialized as you want it to be. So I'm getting an echo. But that knowledge can be as specialized as you want it to be. There's really no limitation to the ways and creativity that you can use to develop the type of assets that we're talking about in this presentation. It's almost limitless, man, being honest with you. And this is legitimate. Again, legit hustle, man. We ain't doing no theoretical talk over here. We're not doing none of that. We talk about real life and how you can actually accomplish these things in your real life. We're talking about building real world wealth with real world assets based on your knowledge, your expertise. What are you good at? What are you knowledgeable in? Right? And then doing some problem solving. So let's look at knowledge as a real world asset class. Remember, knowledge is just data, right? It's just stored in our brains, in our minds. So knowledge is a very real world asset, but it functions different than we are used to when it comes to traditional assets. When it comes to real estate, stocks, bonds, commodities, tangible things that we can buy, hold, and trade, we understand those. We are familiar with those. They have been around a long time. Even if you've never bought any stock, you've heard of stocks. Even if you've never invested in the stock market, you are aware of and familiar with the stock market, right? So those type of assets, everybody's comfortable with because they've been around for so long. Digital knowledge assets, however, are more new, a more modern thing. This is based on frameworks, methodologies, systems, and intellectual property. Things that you can create and things that you can own. What's the entry price for real estate? If you want to purchase real estate as an asset, what's the entry price? First of all, you got to have credit. And you got to have capacity, AKA the ability to pay back the loan, and or collateral, the three C's of lending. So that's the bare minimum entry price to get into real estate. Stocks and bonds are much easier to get. You can buy those, doesn't take much, right? Depending on the stock, depending on the bond, might be very cheap to get. But you have no control. You can buy all the stock in Apple you want to. And the best you can do is hope that the company makes the right decisions. You know? You can buy all the Bitcoin that you want. But you still gotta hope that Bitcoin is managed properly. Right? Or that some federal regulation doesn't come along and kill the value of Bitcoin. Because maybe the government wants to be the big cryptocurrency. Commodities. When you start getting into commodities and currency exchanges and other type of investments, that's where your knowledge and your skill comes in. You got to know something about those games. So to even get involved in that, it's going to take you a while to learn how to play the game properly, or risk getting your money stolen by a shark in a suit who know that you don't know shit about investing. You just got some money to give to them and they make their commissions and you never make a profit. You never get any capital gains. Your investments don't go anywhere, but they make their fees, right? So traditional assets are risky and expensive. There's a big barrier of entry to get into those assets. Now, in our time, in 2026, in the age of digital, knowledge-based assets is based on what you know and what you want to do with it. How much would that cost? I don't know. How cheaply can you get it done? How valuable is it going to be worth? I don't know. How valuable can you make it be? Can you sell it? Can you sell investors on investing in it? Whatever your particular plan is, it's all up to you. How much value you're able to build into a digital knowledge-based asset is totally up to you. It doesn't depend on some CEO in Manhattan somewhere to make the right decisions, knowing he's not thinking about your well-being at all. It doesn't require somebody in an office somewhere far, far away from you to not take a bribe under the table to pass some regulation that kills the value of that investment. It gives you back control because it's yours. Hence the role of intellectual property, right? If you're watching this for the first time, some of the things you're going to hear me talk about on a pretty regular basis are things like intellectual property and data. Because being someone who actually works in tech, builds apps, consults with clients on their ideas, helps people come up with projects and build out their ideas, and hopefully make all of them very profitable. I can tell you from the inside that this is the way forward. What you see going on around you, whether or not the world collapses tomorrow, none of us have any say-so over. But anything that we can do individually to solidify us and our families financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, away from these corrupt outside forces, those are the steps that we need to be taking in 2026. And if you can wrestle away control of your family's financial well-being from the monsters of this world, that's a major step. You gotta be on the lookout for opportunities like that, because the powers that be, quote unquote, they clearly don't care about you or me. They don't care about your race. They don't care about your religion. They don't care about you or me. So you better love yourself enough. You better love your family enough to do what you gotta do for y'all, because ain't nobody else gonna do it. There ain't no other heroes in the story other than you. This presentation, I'm using a fictitious hero, but you gotta be the hero to yourself in this world. You gotta invest in yourself in this world. That investment comes in the form of, what knowledge do you have? What do you feed your brain? I have built I've built about 4 apps at this point that I use in my business, right? I am a self-taught web developer. I started playing around with building websites back in like 1999, 2000 with something called GeoCities. If you was around back in the day, if you old as me, maybe you remember GeoCities, but that was one of the first places that the average person could build a quote unquote website. This is in the late 90s. I had just graduated from Albany Tech here in Georgia and was working as a barber. And I decided I needed a website because everybody was talking about this internet stuff. and websites. So I started playing with web design, 99, 2000. Had taken some classes in high school, so had been familiar with computers. So I was comfortable with computers, but I didn't know anything about designing. So I started playing around on GeoCities. Years later, fast forward to 2008, married, got 2 children, twins on the way, working for myself, needed another website, started learning HTML and CSS, using Google, YouTube, and the local library, Books A Million. From HTML and CSS, I went to JavaScript and Python. The last language that I taught myself was MySQL. I'm in school now for IT, but I had already built apps and started a business as a web developer before I went back to school because I taught myself. So I'm telling you what I know from experience, that you can give yourself the knowledge that can translate into real world assets, that can be real world value for you and your family. I know I'm not talking about it because I put together the presentation. It's literally what I do every day. That's the nature of my company. That's the nature of my agency. And I'm a totally self-taught developer. Now, I did pay money to attend boot camps and classes, especially when it came to internet marketing and advertising. Got my Google certifications, but I did all of that stuff on my own. I paid for those classes out of my pocket. The current app that I just finished developing and launched at the first of this year, it took me 5 years to develop that app. It took 5 years to develop that and get to the point where I could actually start selling it to people and using it to make money. It took me 5 years because I had to teach myself every part of it along the way. At this point, now I have 6 children. And at one point I was a truck driver on the road. So I would spend time in the evenings in the back of my truck designing websites and learning how to code. So I know from personal experience that you can arm yourself with the knowledge that can transform your life with and allow you to create valuable, real world, tangible assets. Instead of the scenario before, the paradox where the person has the gold bar and the buggy full of groceries, but they can't buy the groceries because the cashier can't accept the gold bar. Well, this is now giving you the ability to have a buggy full of groceries and an unlimited black card. Problem alleviated, right? This is the transformative power that knowing how to turn your knowledge into a real world asset gives you, me, and everybody. Because it's based on frameworks, aka technologies, tech stacks, methodologies, business models, systems, things that have already been proven to work, that are easy to replicate and duplicate. Automation, AI, all these things have totally revolutionized what you can do with what you know. And so I'm your bro, this legit hustle, man. That's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you about it. But right now I want to tell you about something else. Some of you all may or may not know that I host various events from time to time. And I do have one coming up. I have one coming up called The Ghost in the Machine. These are free workshops that I do, but they're private. They're not on YouTube. They're hosted on Zoom. And in these workshops, these are not sales presentations. This isn't a sales pitch. This isn't where I try to sell you my app or sell you something else that I sell. These are actual boot camps. These are actual Group sessions where we work through your particular problems for your company, your business in a group setting. All right. And I'm a pretty transparent person. I believe in being very upfront and direct. So I'll tell you from a business standpoint what my reason for doing that is. I work in an industry that the better informed my clients are, the easier it is for me to work with them. The more thought that you have put into your business and your idea, the easier it is for me to come along and help you build it, expand it, grow it, scale it. But the vision has to be clear in your mind because it's your vision. It isn't my job as a consultant to come in and take over. Otherwise, it would become my vision, right? So in order to help you execute whatever it is that you're attempting to do, I have to make sure that it's firmly, clearly in your mind what it is you're doing, what's working and what's not working. And if you don't know the answer to those questions, then those are the questions that we got to find answers to, right? So I love having very well-informed clients. So I do the workshop as a way to earn your business. If I can help you solve problems in your business and all you had to do was attend a workshop with me for free, I feel like when the time comes for you to make a investment in something, I should be high on your list of candidates to hire to help you with it, right? And then I know that you know enough about these type of business deals and moves because I've already helped you with it. That's the purpose of the workshops, right? So if you would like to attend, check out the sites at the bottom of the screen. That's events.emayasolutions.net. Like I said, the next one coming up will be the Ghost in the Machine. I think that is on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken. But you can go to the site and it'll give you the exact date and the time as well. All right. So let's get back into the presentation, man. I hope y'all enjoying this. Smash, you still in the building with me, bro? I hope somebody in here with me. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself. So let's talk about what's at stake. All of this sounds all well and good, Mike. You know, you talk a good game. It sounds simple enough, but what's really at stake? Well, let's start off by talking about what you lose by not making a decision. The slide says waiting, but I'm going to say not making a decision, procrastinating, in other words. See, today, you're just giving away free advice. People ask you a question related to something in your field, and you just answer the question. You're being a good neighbor. You're being a good guy or gal, right? That's today. 1 year from now, someone else has capitalized on that information that you've given away for free. Someone has found a way to monetize the information that you were giving away for free. And then 5 years from today, that person has developed that idea into some multi-million-dollar sensational company, and you just sitting back still giving away advice for free. That's what's at stake. And you know, here at Legit Hustle, you know, I keep it real with everybody, man. We already know the type of stuff that's going on in the world. We see what everybody facing. We all see the same shit in the news, right? We all know the monsters is outside, that they real. We all know all the weird shit we heard over the years about what these so-called celebrities and weirdos, we all know it's true now, right? We know the monsters is out there now. It's not even a question about, is that real? We know that's real at this point. But at the end of the day, they got to do with you. They got to do with me. You still got a family to provide for, and so do I. Yeah, we need to go do something about the monsters, but we still got to prepare for tomorrow. We got to prepare our children for tomorrow. That is what we call wealth. It's just financial preparation for tomorrow. Do you value your knowledge and your expertise in your particular field, do you value that as being wealth? Because it is as wealth. You may not have cracked the code on how to monetize that or translate into money yet, but it is valuable. Don't undervalue it. But you got to crack that code. And this is the key to cracking the code. Translating mental wealth into tangible assets starts with you, first of all, deciding to do it. Right? That makes sense? You can't sit around waiting for the perfect opportunity or for some super fantastic investment to come along. You're going to give them $500 and they're going to bring you back $3 million, scams. Y'all should have realized by now, the internet gurus ain't really gurus. You and I have to do what you and I have to do to take care of you and I's business, our families, our loved ones. And it's not about wanting to be rich. It's not about wanting to have a lot materially. I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for us to be responsible adults and preparing for the future financially is the trait of a responsible adult. If you have children, that's the trait of a responsible parent. You're supposed to be preparing for tomorrow, right? We're just talking about how do we do that as hustlers? How do we do that as entrepreneurs? How do we do that as small business owners and content creators? How do you transfer or transform all of that knowledge that you have, all of that expertise that you have into real world, tangible assets, money? Something that can be traded in your real life. So the lie that we've all been told by the system, you need a degree in order to be credible, right? We now figured out that that was a lie. I don't want to get it too wrong. I'm going to try to remember correctly what the statistical data was. But if I'm not mistaken, I think of the Forbes 400 richest Americans, I think about 51 or 52% of them do not have college degrees. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 51, 52%. Meaning, more than half of the 400 richest Americans do not have college degrees. So we figured out that the lie that we needed a degree in order to have an opportunity to build wealth for ourselves and our family in 2026, we know that's a lie, right? We didn't figure that. We sniffed that one out already. The institution needs to validate my expertise before I can sell it. I don't have a degree in this thing. I don't have a certification. I don't have some institution that says, hey, you're valid in whatever your endeavor may be. That's a lot too. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg needed a degree to build Facebook? Nope. If I'm not mistaken, he dropped out too. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. None of them needed validation. Do you know, most of the people who go to school and get MBAs, you know the messed up thing about getting an MBA? It only makes you qualified to run somebody else's business. MBA programs don't even teach you how to run your own business. Isn't that crazy? You would think that people with MBAs know all about generating wealth for themselves. But that's not the purpose of that particular institutional validation. It just makes you qualified to be hired to run somebody else's business. That's it. May not ever contribute to your personal wealth, but you'll be contributing to someone else's. So we figured out that we've been told some lies about what it takes to get to that place where we have options, where we have something to pass down to our children, where we have something to better the lives of our loved ones. We've been lied to. But in the words of Young Thug, whoop-de-doo. What else have we been lied to about? At this point, we should be shocked if we find out we wasn't lied to about something. If we find out tomorrow that the earth is in fact flat and that we're not on a spinning ball and that whole theory, we shouldn't even be shocked because they lied about everything. So no matter what we find at this point, we should already accept the world is run by liars. So they lied to us a lot. We've been lied to about what it takes to generate wealth. Now we have the means to do it for ourselves. And it just reveals that, damn, it was never that complicated to begin with. We just didn't have access to it for whatever reason. You see, Smash, you say, it's always important to know at least a little between what your strengths are and what your passions are. And some of us have a lot of both. One, as a hustler, entrepreneur, business owner, you gotta know your strengths. Your passion for what you do is what fuels it. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, at some point it's gonna become a chore. You're gonna end up doing it begrudgingly, right? You're not gonna really enjoy it when you do it. And I'm a big advocate for loving what you do. The saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But I'm gonna add something to my brother Smash's comment. And that's that in addition to knowing your strengths and your passions, you also gotta know your weaknesses. Sometimes knowing your weaknesses is more important than knowing your strengths. Weaknesses are vulnerabilities. Samson's weakness was the cutting of his hair, right? Despite all that strength and all that capability, once his hair was cut, the strength was null and void. Weaknesses are vulnerabilities. They can bring the whole project. They can bring everything you built crashing down in an instant if you don't know your vulnerabilities. And then on the flip side of that, your weaknesses are also usually your greatest opportunities. So in addition to knowing your strengths and having passion for what you're doing, you also need to know your weaknesses in those areas because those are your greatest points of vulnerability, but they're also your greatest opportunities. And then he said, you need a degree is the biggest lie. Yep. That whole you need a degree thing. At this point, again, like I said, Smash, we know we've been lied to about damn near everything, man. You know, a lot of this stuff was based in racism, anti-black hatred. A lot of things was class-based, not wanting to let this class of people make it to this place. All division-based, all fear-based, Oh, I can't do it if I don't have this piece of paper. At the end of the day, I think more than people want a degree, people want financial stability, right? When we say the word financial freedom, that term financial freedom has been hijacked. That's another lie. While we on this topic, I'm gonna detour for a minute. The term financial freedom has been hijacked to mean rich. That being financially free is about how much you have, and that is a lie. If you get up every day, let's say you get up every day, you a young single brother or sister, and all you do is get up and make content. It's just you ain't really got no whole bunch of bills. You might not be making big time money making content, but you might be paying your bills, right? You don't have the stress of working for somebody that you don't like or that don't like you for some reason you ain't got no control over. You ain't got to get up and go nowhere and ask nobody to pay you. Financial freedom is the ability to be comfortable on your own terms. And that is not based on how much of something we have. That's based on how we structure our lives financially. How do you make your money? What do you spend your money on? That's financial freedom. It's not about how much we have. It's about how our life is structured financially that gives us financial freedom. And that's a lie that we've been told. We've been brainwashed into equating financial freedom with having a whole lot of money. And then you find out when you chase money, when you chase bags, you can never get enough. You know why? Because everything keeps getting more expensive. And then the trap becomes you have to maintain the lifestyle that you fought so hard for. And now you don't even love making music no more. Now you don't even love whatever it is that got you started. You lost the passion for it because now it just became a job. Chasing that fictitious financial freedom when you might have been more financially free when you was just a little local rapper, when you was just a little small time, whatever you was doing. You may have had more freedom though. You didn't have investors to worry about. You don't have contracts in place and partners to be concerned about suing you. You don't have creditors coming after your possessions. You may be more financially free at a small scale than you are a large scale. So that's another lie that I want to dispel here at Legit Hustle. Financial freedom isn't about how much you have. It's about how you structure your life. If you get up every day and you can take care of yourself and your loved ones on your terms, I salute you. That's what being a hustler is about. Being on your terms. Living on your terms, getting it how you decide you're gonna get it. Doing it how you decide you're gonna do it. That's what being a hustler is all about. So we gotta dispel these lies. You feel me? And that's part of what we're doing here today. Let's get back into the presentation, man. I hope y'all enjoying it. If this is your first time tuning in, most definitely make sure you subscribe. Check me out. I can't promise you when I go live. I don't always do it on a consistent basis. But if this is your first time checking out your homie, Legit Hustle, man, make sure you subscribe. Come back and kick it with us another time. You feel me? So getting back into this. We live and we operate in a system that was designed to create employees, not owners. The system that we live and operate in was never intended to make you wealthy. It was never intended to give you the capability of breaking free of the shackles of the oppressor and the monsters. No, it was designed to trap you like a Venus flytrap. And again, if this is your first time checking out Legit Hustle, man, I do not knock what people do for a living. This is no knock to people who have a W-2 job. Whatever you're doing to take care of yourself, long as you're being responsible when you handling your business, I got love and respect for that. So this is I'm never trying to take a shot at how a person provides for themselves. I'm not on that. You know, I just chose a different path in my life. But I wish everyone success in whatever it is they're doing and however it is they choose to go about doing it. But for those that are on this side of the path, you have to realize that we operate in a system that wasn't designed to make people like us. We're already anomalies. If you watching content like this, if you are here hustling, getting it on your own, if you fighting back against this trap, this system that was created for us, hey man, you're an anomaly. You're Neo in the Matrix. If you fighting back against the system, working for yourself, being determined to own, not giving away your value, not giving away your wealth, that's bucking the system. You're a rebel, right? They promoted this institutional thing, like the previous slide talked about, this whole we need a degree and higher education is the key. For us to find out that was all a lie. It was never a one size fits all solution. But that's what they promoted to us, right? Because that's what's good for job placement. You don't need to have a variety of skills if all you're gonna do is flip burgers at McDonald's or be a greeter at Walmart. So the system was not designed to produce owners. It was designed to prepare you to be put into a job that they hope you stay in the rest of your life and continue to make them wealthy. They made us think that learning was supposed to stop after you graduated. Nope. Why would learning ever stop anyway? You know, the only thing that doesn't learn, the only people who don't learn are people who don't grow. And anything that doesn't grow is dead. Everything living grows. Everything. If a person ever allows themselves to think that because they graduated from high school or they graduated from this school with this degree, that your learning stops at that point, you just shot yourself in the foot as far as the quality of your life goes. I don't think you're ever going to be the greatest parent that you could be. But I think if you're a good parent, you're always going to be working and learning how to try. Right? We have to learn. Whether it's on the job, whether it's in our personal life, we have to be dedicated to learning. But once again, we were told that stopped when we graduated. Again, preparing us to be employees, to fit someone else's vision for your life. Then they start making us or conditioning us to trade our time for money. Minimum wage, blank dollars per hour. Equating time with money was maybe the second most diabolical trick that they played on us, in addition to making us think that we had to have a degree to achieve things in our life. Getting us to trade our time for money was probably the second most diabolical thing in this scheme that they did. That put us on a perpetual rat race. And it gave the powers that be, so to speak, a huge mechanism of control, because all of us have the same amount of time. That negates your skill. That negates your expertise. That negates your creativity. That negates what you bring to the table. That negates your individuality. Because everybody on your team get $9.75 an hour or whatever they get paid. It don't matter that you clear off your assignment 30 minutes faster than everybody else on your team. Y'all all getting paid $11.50 an hour. The concept of trading our time for our money. Like I said it jokingly, but I'm being serious because it made us change our mindset. It made us start thinking in terms of a limited amount. Because once you put a value on the time, once you put a rate on the time, you just put a cap on how much you can make. You just put a limit on how much you can make. And whether a person ever expressly thought that to themselves or said that to themselves, subconsciously we know. Because we all know how to calculate, well, I work 40 hours a week and I make X amount of dollars per hour, so this is the most my check will be. This is excluding taxes. Just the thought of trading your time for money conditions you to limit how much you can earn. It doesn't change our desire to earn more. But for some people, that thing that we as hustlers have that make us go out there and find a way, that thing that we as entrepreneurs have that make us go around the obstacle, everybody doesn't have that thing. And so some people, once that thing got switched in their mind that they're only as valuable as the time they can give to an employer, some people will never try beyond that. The scenario, what is it? The elephant. How do you keep a big, huge elephant at the circus from just running off? You can stick a little stake in the ground, and that big, huge elephant will stay right there tied to that little bitty stake in the ground, so it could easily pull that and then some. How? Because since that elephant was a baby, it's been tied to a stake in the ground. Back in the time when it wasn't strong enough to pull itself free. And so now that elephant, big, strong, and majestic as it is, has been convinced that it can't pull this little bitty stake out the ground and run free. And I think trading time for money was the stake in the ground for a lot of us, if I'm being honest with you. Right? So we were conditioned by the system to be employees. But if you on legit hustle, man, then you already bucking the system. So I got to give a shout out to everybody that watched this content. Because if you over here, that means you're bucking the system. You're not with that. You're trying to find a way to get a piece that you can own, that you can keep for yourself and yours, just like I am, you know? So what's the other option? We can choose to not go the path, the ownership path. We can instead choose to go the ownership path. This is where we tailor-make our education specific to our own objectives. And we have the means. We have all the devices in the world. We have all the technological capabilities. We have all the resources. You can take classes for free. You can learn entire coding languages on YouTube right now for free. You can learn asset management for free. You can learn debt management for free. You can learn grant writing for free. You can learn advertising, marketing. You can learn everything that you need to make yourself the best CEO, the best barber, the best lawn man, the best whatever it is that you are striving to do. You have that information at your fingertips every single day. The difference is, are you applying those resources to ownership? Are you doing things with these tools and resources that are going to translate into ownership of something? The ownership path means that you have to accept that you are going to be a lifelong learner. Learning never stops. Why would you ever want to stop learning? That should be boring as hell, wouldn't it? Imagine just not learning nothing. You'll never pick up the phone and be like, oh, I didn't know it was a bird in Africa that did that with his wings and made all these colors sparkle around and shit. If you never learn nothing new, life would be boring as hell, right? So commit to learning what it is that you need to learn in order for you to secure yourself on that ownership path. It's in your hands. The tools are in your hands. The means are in your hands. You just have to commit to it. Commit to learning whatever it is that you need to learn to secure the ownership of something of value. Go learn it. School is out there. SKOOL, the platform where people offer courses on every damn thing. Teachable. There are a lot of platforms. YouTube, there are a lot of resources. Discord. Believe it or not, chat rooms still be popping. Discussion forums. There's a lot of ways that you can get to the information that you need to make this concept that we're talking about here not a concept for you. And I can tell you that because I have made it not a concept for me. It's what I do every day. It's what I work toward every day. Because now the assets and things, the things I sell to other people are assets that I and my family own now. Because I decided to take this path years ago. And I committed to learning whatever it was I needed to learn. If I had to teach myself coding, then I was going to teach myself coding. If I had to learn how to design user interfaces, I was going to do that. Whatever I got to do. I need to learn database coding. Fine. I teach myself that language as well. While being a father of 6. While having a regular, well, my shit wasn't regular. While having the ups and downs of marital turmoil going on. You know what I'm saying? But that's not because I'm great or I'm special. I was just committed, man. I wasn't going to let nothing shake me off my dream. I wasn't going to let nothing shake me off of what I was building for me and my family. And part of that was a commitment to learn whatever it was I needed to learn. Right? By any means necessary. Another. Listen, when it comes to what we're talking about right now, this next bullet point, there's a lot of good points in here, but this is definitely one that you need to remember, because not only in business will this skill improve your life, it will improve your day-to-day tasks. I don't care if it's cleaning up the kitchen. And that's to learn to create systems, to think systematically, to look for ways to create a system. Something that will make something repetitive, almost automatic, save time, save energy. Learning how to create a system, how to systemize things is, in today's world, it is an extremely valuable skill. So on the ownership path, you need to know how to create systems that generate value for you. When I first got into sales and I started watching sales trainings and I went to some seminars and things like that, we used to use the analogy of having an oil rig, right? The value of having an oil rig is that it never stops pumping. An oil rig does this. It doesn't need you to come out there and pump the oil every day. You don't have to be, go out there and stand for 8 hours and pump the oil every day to benefit from having an oil rig. It does this. As long as nothing's broke on it, it just does this all the time, pumping wealth and value out of the ground for you while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're playing with the dog, when you're bathing your goldfish, whatever you got going on, that oil rig is steady just pumping, right? Having the proper systems that generate value for you without you having to do the work is extremely valuable. Is that not pretty much the definition of passive income? And if you're watching Legit Hustle, I don't have to tell you about passive income. I hope you already know the value of passive income. But if you don't, who wouldn't like money that they don't have to get up and physically work for every day? That's passive income. How do you create passive income? Simple. You create systems that do it. What type of systems? I don't know. What industry you going into? What are you trying to build? How much are you trying to generate? Those are the questions that you have to supply the answers to. But knowing how to turn those answers into systems that generate value. Oh, now you 21st century hustler. Now you hustling in 2026. Now you legit hustling. That's how we move over here. Right? Build things that will generate value for you, that will make money for you when you're asleep, when you're on vacation, when you're doing whatever, because it's not dependent on your effort. When you can do this, then knowledge becomes portable, scalable assets for you. Why portable? We live in a mobile world. Mobility. The ability to use, display, capitalize on that knowledge in a world where people are on the go, yourself included. Portable in the sense that it's not bound to one particular thing. It doesn't have to be on this platform. It can be over here. It doesn't have to be on this website. It can go over here. It doesn't have to be on this operating system. It can work on this one. And scalable. The ability to grow something, especially when you can do it exponentially. And again, I talked about this on the last live, and that was exponential organizations. And I'm going to bring that up again on this live. If you're not familiar with exponential organizations and you're a business owner or you're a hustler in 2026, you should know about exponential organizations. If you're serious about your hustle, if you're serious about your business, you should know about exponential organizations. Maybe I'll do a presentation on it. Since I'm up here talking about it, I guess that must mean it's my job to bring it to the people that expect legit to bring them some legit hustle tips, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put together a presentation on exponential organizations, because you need to understand that the modern tools and tech that we have gives you the ability to scale and grow outside of the traditional way that you think of growth, more linear, right? This month we sold this many. That month we sold this many. The month after that we sold this much. That's more linear growth, right? The tech tools allow you to grow exponentially. That's like saying, okay, not only did we make more money this month from selling that product, but then we were also able to monetize the copyrights and the trademarks to that product and license it out to this company over there. So now that product is generating us licensing fees. And then we got a guy over here that liked it so much, he wanted to make a movie about it. So we may be selling the production rights to that person. That's the ability to grow something exponentially, where you have opportunities to monetize and generate revenue for yourself in a way that you didn't have traditionally. because the cost of admission was too high. During the industrial age, to become a millionaire, you needed a factory. You needed a huge workforce. In today's world, that is no longer true. You don't need anybody other than yourself. And in order to be that type of an owner, to walk that ownership path in 2026, then you gotta know about exponential organizations. You gotta know about one-person companies. It's mandatory. And so I guess here live on YouTube in front of the world, I'm giving myself a whole bunch of assignments. Because I guess, maybe the most I saying, Mike, you sitting here talking about it. Why don't you tell them about it if you don't think they know? So that, I guess I'll make that my assignment. I'm going to have to make sure that the people on my channel are up to date on these things. Because if you serious like I'm serious about being a hustler, if you dedicated like I'm dedicated to making sure that my babies have better options in their adult life than me and my siblings had, if you on that same type of time with me, then man, stay tuned to Legit Hustle, because we're going to get into those type of topics. I'm going to take it upon myself to make sure that the people on my channel know about exponential organizations, that know about tokenizing their intellectual property and their assets, because of the potential that's there. Like I said earlier, maybe you saw that part or maybe you didn't. There's a reason why BlackRock is doing that. There's a reason why all the big corporations and hedge funds are so into blockchain and tokenization right now. And so at this level of the game, the average day-to-day hustler like you and me, the average day-to-day business owner needs to pay attention and move likewise, right? Last point, building equity that grows over time. I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned on a previous live stream, that I think I was about 42 or 43 when I learned the difference between having a business and running a company. The reason why so many of us, especially as Black Americans, have a hard time building wealth when we have a business is because we don't understand the company aspect. That requires that you focus on not how much money you can make to pay your bills, but rather how much value can you build into the company. That is where you get your equity from. That is where you get your wealth from. That is how you have to think like a CEO. Not about making X amount of dollars so I can pay this bill and pay that bill. No, how do I build the most amount of value into the company? That only benefits us on the ownership path if you have the proper vehicles in place to benefit from that equity or to store that equity, which is just value at the end of the day, right? It's just a way to store value. And in the business world, one of those ways is with stocks, right? So all of us need to be on the ownership path, but I think that the people that watch Legit Hustle are already on the ownership path. So I don't think I'm necessarily telling everybody something new. I would hope that the people that watch my content are at least a little familiar with these concepts already. But if you're not, that's what your homie here for, man. I'm gonna bring it to you and make sure that you armed with the information that you need, right? That's what we do at Legit Hustle. So let's look in the mirror. Let's face a hard truth. We've been conditioned to ask permission. Yep. Most of us don't even realize it, that we have subconsciously been conditioned and programmed to seek permission before we do things. Do you ask permission before you do things? And I mean, like, be real. Be real. You know, one of the places in my life I had to realize that I always ask for permission, making money. Subconsciously, I always felt the need to ask for permission to make more money. When I first got into sales, it presented a problem in me closing sales. It made me hesitant to ask for the sale. And a lot of times that was because, as I learned later, I didn't feel like I was worthy of making that amount of money. Not because I was incapable of making the sale, but inside myself, I didn't feel worthy of making a certain amount of money. I needed permission to make that kind of money, to make $3,000 or $4,000 a day. I needed permission to do that. Are there things in your life, and this is, remember, we're taking a look in the mirror. You look in the mirror. Ask yourself, are there things in your life that you are waiting for permission from someone before you do it? I'll tell you another place that I was asking for permission and I had to realize that was holding me back. That was as a consultant. Sometimes when you're really skilled in an area, right, when you're really knowledgeable about something, when you've got a real, a lot of in-depth experience in something, a lot of times we take for granted the value of what we know. We feel like because we know this about this is common knowledge at this point, right? But you will be shocked how much opportunity there is for you in your industry because many people don't know what you know. So are you asking and waiting for permission to be the expert? Are you waiting for permission for someone to come along and say, Tim, you finally made it, brother. You've been here 10 years, you're an expert now. Or do you just operate like an expert? Are you asking for permission? Who do you expect to get permission from? Who's supposed to come and give us this permission? That is a question I had to confront myself with. Mike, just because you know this like the back of your hand, everybody wasn't reading books on web design in 1999, brother. But a lot of times for me, I felt like what I knew about certain things was just such common knowledge, but it's not. And that was when I really began to not only realize the opportunity in consulting with people about things in this area that they don't know about, but that was when I really found that thing in myself and I realized I didn't need permission, that I was already an expert. I was an expert because I had already paid the cost to be an expert. I stayed up late reading the books. I didn't just read them. I tinkered, I tried, I did things. I got jobs in fields. I didn't just read about marketing. I was working for a marketing agency out of Canada before I was 23 years old. I didn't just think about or want to know about financial products and investing. I went and got involved in the financial services industry. So when it came time for me to look at myself in the mirror and realize that I had value up here, I had paid the cost a lot over the years. There was a lot that I learned about business and not just limited to technology. There was a lot I learned along the way in jumping in those different fields and doing those different things that the average person don't have access to. And then I had to value that knowledge. And that progression led us to where we are right now. If you're watching this, that's why you're watching this. Because I had to realize that everybody don't know what you know about this stuff, Mike. And not only do you get the benefit from the business standpoint of creating an opportunity to meet new clients and open up doors for yourself, but you can also open up doors for people in ways they never imagined because they don't know this stuff like you know it, Mike. That was the conversation I had to have with myself in the mirror. So for all of you all, I'm telling you those real life stories so that you will look in the mirror and be real with yourself. Are you asking for permission? Are you telling yourself you're not ready because you haven't finished the degree? You're not ready because you haven't found the perfect location. Whatever. Are you waiting for permission from somebody? Maybe it's God. Maybe it's the Most High. I'm just being honest with you. Maybe you feel like you need permission from your creator to have certain things. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I respect it. I totally get it, believe me. Matter of fact, I'd say that's wise to ask first. Being honest with you. I say you should ask first, right? But don't not go for it because you're waiting on permission. And if you're going to fail at something, fail on your way to the top, right? You're just going to fall down at the bottom. That was just pointless. If you're going to fail, at least fail going up the mountain. Smash says you can't ask permission to breathe, man. You just got to do it till you can't no more. Exactly. In my song, Tales of a Hustler 3, I got a bar that goes, I go foot on the gas, fuck if I crash, guess fate is fate, most high's blessings, that's your grace. That bar, I put that bar in that song because you get to a place on this path as hustlers, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, you get to a place on this path where you know you really ain't got no choice but to put the gas down. You get to that fork in the road, so to speak, that decision place where it's barbecue or mildew, man. Either you gonna do this thing or you not. And the other side of that equation is, you know, once you do this, you're gonna be all in. And that means that if you fail, it's gonna be a big failure because you all in at this point. That's why I put that bar in the song, because that's the mentality you got to have sometimes when you out here getting it for yourself against a system that wants to keep you trapped as an employee, wants to keep you on food stamps. Despite what they say, they like it because it's controlled, right? They want to keep you in a position of having less, of being underrepresented, of not being protected. They want to keep you in that position because that gives them control. But if you're gonna wrestle yourself free of that control, there are gonna be times on this path of ownership, on this path of being a hustler, you're gonna have to say, fuck it, man. If I crash, I just crash, brother. I'm going all in because I done came too far to go back. I done came too far to give up right now. I'm going all in. And more times than not, more than failing, and I'm not saying that everyone will find success in this way, but more times than not, when you go full speed ahead, when you moving with that purpose and you refuse to turn back, when you done burnt the boats, there's no way to get back home. You gotta win that battle that's ahead of you. If nothing else, you're gonna learn a very valuable lesson that makes you better. That's the worst thing that's gonna happen. And if you really get good at solving the problems and the challenges that come with being locked in, when you all in, if you get really good at solving the problems and getting around the roadblocks that present themselves, once you go all in on something, it becomes inevitable that it will succeed. It might not even be the business you started off. It may grow and evolve into something that you didn't even plan it to be. But at the end of the day, your ability to be successful in something or not, is based on you. If you're on the ownership path, if you're still getting the runaround from the world, and if you still think you need a degree, and you still expecting jobs to come back and be like they was in 1985, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's not gonna happen. And so that person with that mentality may not have the high percentage or the high likelihood of accumulating any wealth or value for themselves. And this isn't to say that by doing this, you're guaranteed to be a millionaire, billionaire, or thousandaire, or anything. It's not a guarantee, but this is the best option. Anything that gives you more control over your financial future, over your family's financial well-being in this world, is the better option to me. And I feel like if you're a hustler, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, content creators, if you getting it on your own, that's your mentality too, man. You know, I'm gonna bet on me. Yeah, I could go get a job around the corner at such and such corporation, but I'm gonna bet on me. You know, I want to be in control of what I can and can't do, how far I can and can't go, how fast I can or can't grow. I need that control. That's why I never really liked the stock market, to be honest with you. Not to say it's not good to invest in stocks. That's everybody's decision. I never liked not having control over the investment. If I didn't have enough money to buy my way into a position as a shareholder to have some say so, I don't know too many companies I want to invest in, because I don't know what they're doing up there. They damn sure ain't gonna be looking out for me. Apple won't care about you, man. You got 2 shares of Apple stock, man. They ain't studying about what nobody with 2 shares think. You know what I'm saying? So I never really liked that path. I like things that give me a higher measure of control in what I can do with it and how much it can be. How can I monetize it? How can I develop it? I like that control because I don't have to, be at the whims and mercy of corrupt monsters out here, man. Y'all know them people. Just look at the news. Y'all know what I'm saying? So this is the mirror aspect, man. I hope everybody, when you see this, be real with yourself. When you get to this part, talk to yourself. Be real with yourself. Ask yourself the hard questions. Ask yourself the uncomfortable questions. Again, I want to take just a second to remind everybody, you may or may not be familiar with the various events that I have from time to time, but I have another one coming up. And this will be the Ghost in the Machine. Now, the Ghost in the Machine is not a sales pitch type of presentation. It is a group workshop where we work through your tech stack. We work through the different tools that you have, and we're looking for what's called the Ghost in the Machine. In other words, where is it not working at? What's causing it to not function at its most optimal? Why isn't your system doing what you want to do, what you hoped it would do? Where's the disconnect? That's the Ghost in the Machine, and that's what that workshop is about. I got one coming up toward the end of this month. If you want to attend, please check out the website, events.emayasolutions.net, and pull up on it. Hey, Smash, man, I can't believe I'm going on 2 hours, bro. I don't normally be on here like that, but I took it easy today, bro. I've been chilling for the most part today. I ain't want to work too hard today, no way, with it being Shabbat. So I've been chilling most of the day, man, and doing the presentations later in the evening. I want to try to do because I want to give more people a chance to be able to pull up on the live, and just because I be at home and be free and can go live at 11, in the morning don't mean that's the best time to go live. You know what I'm saying? Because people might not be able to see it. So I'm trying to find the angle and carve out my little groove with the content creation thing, bro. But this has been a very, very interesting journey. You know, you said it's lit. I appreciate it, man. Hey, I was excited about this one, bro, because you know, typically I don't really like talking about money and finance with people because it's too much emphasis on that, you know. And as much as I like money and you like money, again, my definition of financial freedom isn't even about how much money I make. It's more about how I make my money, right? So a topic like this is a little bit more financial than I typically would work on. But one of the things that I think I got to do is what I said earlier, bro. Like, there's so much opportunity for us, especially for us as Black Americans, as FBA, as foundational Black Americans. And I'm going to say that all the time just so people will know if they ever wonder why I stand on that. But for us as Black Americans, especially, when you look at the wealth gap that exists, I think the average Black family's wealth is like $24,000. And the average white American's wealth is $188,000. That's a huge gap, right? Things like this are legitimate means that us as a people can choose to take control and close that gap on our own. And I take that seriously. So I know the potential that's here. You know, I know the potential that rests with thinking this way and developing these type of assets, because this is literally what I've dedicated my life to doing for the last few years, man. So I'm passionate about this because I know the potential. I know what it can do for people. Whether or not you make $1 million or I ever make $1 million off the things that I've developed and the different projects that I have, that's not really the quest. The quest is to be able to take care of me and mine comfortably without having to affiliate with the monsters. You know, I don't want to be part of their little clubs. I don't want to be part of none of their little crews. I don't even want to be part of their industries. You feel me? And I know it's a lot of people out there that we want to be able to do things for our family. Well, we want to be able to give our families opportunities and create opportunities and leave legacies for our children, for our descendants, for our progeny, right? Everybody wants to do that, regardless of what your ethnic background may be. These are the type of tools that you can literally do that, man. You can take control of that almost totally at this point. I'm talking about it's almost to the point you don't need these mofos out here, man. You almost don't need them at all, man. If I can do one thing over the next few months, I really hope that I can impress upon the people that watch my content that tokenization, blockchain, it is not the future, it is the now. And if you get with it now, man, listen, it is, without being too technical, bro. Let me think, how can I break that down? Let's use numbers. Numbers are pretty simple. All right. In order to have $1 million company, or let's just say $1 million stock. Let's say you got a corporation. You own all 100% of that company, right? So we'll just consider that company one as having one stock. In order to have $1 million company, you don't have to sell $1 million in revenue. If you can get a 10x valuation on your company, in order to hit $1 million company, you only have to sell $100,000 in revenue, right? A 10x valuation will make that $100,000 a year company small business that you have, worth $1 million. And if you're the only person who owns the stock in that company, this is where it's different from having a business and running a company. If the stock is what you need to store the value. So at that point that $100,000 in revenue a year company gets that 10x valuation, you now own $1 million asset, and it's a stock that you created from a company, asset I should say, that you created from a company that you created based on what you know, what you're an expert in your company. Now the crazy thing is that in the world that I operate in tech, man, the type of things that I'm telling people to build, they don't get 10x valuations. They routinely get 30 to 50 maybe. Somewhere in there is probably the average, 30 to 50 times valuation. That turns that same $100,000 a year company into a $3 to $5 million company. Same revenue, same amount of money being generated. It's the valuation of the company that gives you the wealth creation. The revenue is what helps determine that. But if you have intellectual properties, assets that you own, you've just extended the capability or the value of that one stock certificate for the corporation you own. And I hope that's not over technical, but the ability to literally generate millions of dollars worth of wealth on your own. That's what I'm trying to describe. That's what I'm trying to show people you have the capability to do right now in 2026, man. You ain't got to sign no deals. You ain't got to be no rapper. You ain't got to be no tech nerd. You ain't got to know how to code. That's not what it's based on. These are just the tools that we use. The biggest thing that you need is the mentality of an owner. How to run your business like a company, like a CEO. You got to go from being the service provider. You got to go from being the content creator. You got to go from being the hairstylist, the lawn man, or whatever you consider yourself as, to being the CEO of a corporation. That means there are things you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to start looking at things and the way you do business very differently. But if you invest in that and you take the time to learn that thing, now you have the ability to generate wealth almost out of thin air because it's based on what you know. It's based on what you're an expert in. You can take an intangible value like your knowledge and turn it into tangible wealth in 2026. That wasn't possible in 2006. Well, it was, but not quite this way. Definitely wasn't possible in 1986 this way. We have the opportunity now, man. I'm excited for myself and my family because of the things that I have going on, but I want to share that with other people. I want to show people, hey man, there are ways you can put this stuff together, bro, that is extremely powerful. And you don't have to go out and be a coder. You don't have to go out and learn programming. You don't have to do any of that. Notice, in the steps that we went through in the presentation, none of it said you needed to go out and learn how to code. None of it. My clients, for the most part, I don't even want you to have to worry about coding. You know what I mean? My clients supply me the vision. It's important that you have the vision. If you have a clear vision, then you can articulate that to me better. And the better you can explain to me and help me see your vision, the easier it is for me to build it for you. And make sure that it works and it functions like it's supposed to, like you want it to, like it's intended to. Right? But you don't have to know coding. It's not even necessary. This isn't a presentation advocating for you to go out and learn how to code. This is about your mindset. This is about realizing that your knowledge and your expertise is valuable. That there is monetary value to the things that only you know. In the way, in the combination that only you know it. Right? And guess what I'm going to do today? I'm actually going to fire up this goddamn cigarette. Because if y'all ever watch my presentations, 9 times out of 10, I got a joint or a cigarette that be in my hand the whole time. Because I be sitting here thinking like at some point I'm finna fire it back up. And then I get so wrapped up in talking about what we're talking about that next thing you know, I've been in the presentation. I'm like, oh shoot, man, I never fired up my cigarette or my joint or whatever it was. But anyway, that's just me being me. Now let's get into the framework, right? Of going from mental to material. Let's look at that as a system or as a process, maybe I should say. So we're gonna look at this as a roadmap to a portfolio. What is in that portfolio? I don't know. You haven't built it yet. But this is the roadmap from that mental, intangible potential that you have, knowledge, expertise. Using these 3 steps, transform that into something that you can actually deploy. Hey Smash, bruh. Hey, the other day, the live I did, when was that? Wednesday, right? Bro, I literally had it in my hand the whole time, bro. And I didn't even think about it again until I stopped the live. And I was like, man, I've been sitting here talking to people and doing all these wonderful, beautiful gestures. They're like, man, is that nigga ever gonna fire that shit up? He just gonna hold it. But yo, hey man, over here, Legit Hustle. I'm all for natural enjoyment, brother. The most I put it here for you, enjoy it responsibly. Enjoy it with balance and moderation. I'm not here to be nobody's daddy or mama. Do your thing, man. But when you watching Legit Hustle, man, just know you always welcome to fire up, because I'm probably gonna do the same if I haven't right before I came live. You feel me? So yeah, man, put one in the air with me, man, when you over here. We talk about business, grown man, grown woman shit, and we enjoy ourselves while we do it. You feel me? So let's get back to this roadmap. What's step 1? Step 1 is awareness. All right, the asset shift. You have to reframe what you know as what you own. I'm gonna say it again. You have to stop thinking about what you know as something that you know, and think of it as something you own. That's powerful. It's simplistic. Simplest. Fucking shit. It's simple. And it's a little bit simplistic, but that's a powerful statement. I'm gonna read that again. Reframe what you know as what you own. You don't just know that. You're not just an expert. That knowledge is valuable and it has tangible value. So take ownership of that knowledge. It's not just some you know. Your unique combination of knowledge and expertise is something that you own. Even if we came from the same industry, even if we came from the same school and worked in the same industries, our levels of knowledge and expertise are not going to be the same. Your unique combination is not going to be the exact same of my unique combination of knowledge and skills. So there's no need to worry about it being duplicated. What makes it unique is you. So you don't even have to worry about that, but you do need to take ownership of it. Number 2, your costume, man. If you're going to be a hustler like that, if you're going to be that type of a superhero, you got to have a costume, right? What is that costume? The costume is your education, your unique, tailored educational system, goals, objectives to become that person that you're striving to become. Remember, whatever it is you got to learn, it's at your fingertips. It's at your disposal now to go out and learn whatever you need to learn. Most of it for free. That's your superhero costume. And yours is going to be tailored to you because you're going to design it. Only you know what information you need to know to do that thing because only you know what it is you're trying to do. You're not doing the exact same thing I'm doing. So my education path, my costume looks a little different from yours. It's supposed to. Your superhero fit should look a little different from mine. It's supposed to, because you're tailoring it to fit your needs. Mine fits my needs. So what do you need to learn? What do you need to know? Where are you going to get that information from? Where are you going to get that skill from? And are you dedicated to learning what you need to learn to do it? And then the third thing is ownership. This is the mechanism that converts the knowledge into tangible assets. Ownership. Right? So let's keep it moving. Man, Smash, I might actually get all the way through this presentation today, bro. If I get all the way to the end of this, let me see. Man, I don't know. I probably ain't gonna do it, bro. This end up being a 5-hour live stream. I just be talking. I'm a terrible YouTuber. I know. Hey, listen, if you ain't watched Legit Hustle before, if you're new to Legit, I apologize. I know I'm not the premier YouTuber. I just be getting up here talking, man. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to the presentation. This shit just be on the screen. You might be just listening to me talk. And I don't know what. I don't even pay attention to what's on the screen. You feel me? I don't know if that makes me a good YouTuber or not. Thanks, Mr. Legit Hustle, for clarity on business endeavors with educational insight. Your podcast topics are a motivation to all that view. Oh, your tools help us get started or keep moving forward. Special shout out to the one and only Missy Love 941. I will tell y'all a secret about Missy Love. That's my baby right there. She get to see me on this side of YouTube. Thank you, babe. I appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. You know I love you. So, step 1, awareness, the asset shift. Stop calling it thoughts or free advice. Remember, step 1 was to stop thinking in terms of what you know and start thinking in terms of what you know as what you own, right? So we got to be careful of the language we use. It's not just random thoughts. It's not just because it may be commonplace to us or something that we know off the back of our hand and we can answer too quickly. We tend to undervalue what we know, but we got to not do that. It's not just a tip. It's not just whatever, some thought. It's not even common sense for everybody, right? And when we do that, we're devaluing that wealth, that mental wealth that we talked about. So start looking at what you know as what you own. And instead of thinking of it as thoughts, now I want you to think in terms of those thoughts being data. Because that's what it is. What you know is actually data. It's just stored not on a physical hard drive, not on a device or a memory card. It's just stored on a biological drive called your brain. But it's data. And remember, Hopefully you were here at the beginning. In the 21st century, data is the most valuable asset out there. You don't believe me? Just Google data centers. And look at what companies are investing billions in data centers. You want to know what digital currency looks like? It's just data. That's all. Think about it. Every crypto coin, every token, every digital thing, that even this video that's transmitting from my home to you, it's data. Data is the money. That's digital money, data. So change your mindset by looking at your knowledge and your expertise as what it is, data. And data is valuable in 2026, right? For hustlers, super valuable. Next, the superhero costume. Remember, this costume is your custom made, custom design, tailor-made plan of education for yourself based on what you know you need to know in order to do what you're trying to do. And you are the only person, you're the only person that can design that costume, that can design that education, because you know what you don't know. Remember, Smash, we were talking earlier, we were talking about the fact that not only in addition to knowing your strengths and your passions, what you're passionate about, I said you also need to know your weaknesses. Knowing your weaknesses will help prevent you from being vulnerable in those areas. And on the flip side, it also creates the greatest opportunities for you in those same areas where you were weak at. Well, in this regard, when it comes to your, what we're calling the costume in this story, which is your education, right? You have to tailor make that based on what you don't know, AKA where you're weak at. And only by doing that self-check in the mirror and being honest with ourselves and saying, hey, I really don't know anything about assets. Hey, I really don't know anything about wealth. I really don't know anything about data. Whatever the case may be. But in order to do that, you have to first be able to admit and acknowledge where you are weak at and what it is that you actually need to address, right? And only you can do that. So design your own curriculum. Use some sources. Everybody's familiar with ChatGPT and AI and these different language models and generative things at this point, right? If somebody works in tech, I'm gonna give you some advice. Don't trust everything AI tells you, because AI definitely lies, right? And it's not a lie in the sense that we think of someone lying. In tech terms, we call it hallucinate. AI hallucinates. It misinterprets things. And sometimes it's based on it doing some research on something in the internet and not realizing that it pulled some outdated information. So it tells you something that's actually outdated because it's not thinking like you and I think. It's just based on large compiled amounts of data, information, right? So use AI in your curriculum, but don't depend on it. Stick with good old-fashioned tangible books. Get you some books. Get you some books you can touch, read. Watch some YouTube videos. Watch content like this. Go check out platforms like School, SKOOL. Check out School, Teachable. Take some free courses. You want to get better at marketing, advertising? You can get certified on Google for free. as a Google certified advertiser. It don't cost you anything. It's gonna take you some days. It'll take you a while to get certified. It's a lot of classes. But by the time you get through taking those free classes, you'll know very well how to advertise your businesses using Google ads, how to run campaigns, how to set up campaigns, how to do keyword research, how to manage campaigns for other people. You'll learn all of that for free just getting your certifications from Google. So whatever it is that you need to know to be that ultimate hustler, that ultimate version of yourself, this is where you do it at in your costume. Design your own curriculum. Determine what asset it is that you want to build. What's your idea? What's your concept? Not sure? Holler at me. Schedule a consultation with me. Schedule a consultation with someone else, but get clarity on what it is that you want to build, because that will help you determine what you need to know to build it. All right, so you got to get clarity on what it is that you want to build and base your curriculum on that. This is your costume. This is your Superman suit. You want the one without the cape, or you want the one with the cape? You like the black Spider-Man outfit, or you like the traditional blue and red Spider-Man outfit? Which one you like? You can tailor make it how you want to. You can have Wolverine claws come out your Spider-Man suit if you want to. It's your superhero costume, man. You make it how you want to make it. Tailor make it to what you need it to be. There's never been a Wolverine Spider-Man before. You can be the first. You know what I'm saying? But for real, man, make it what you needed to make it. You know what I'm saying? And let that be guided and driven with a purpose, because you've already determined what type of asset it is that you actually want to build. You feel me? Step 3 is ownership. This is the mechanism. All right. So these are some of the things, assets that you can use your knowledge to create for yourself. All right. So this is where we're getting out of the realm of theory. We're getting into the practical use of your knowledge. All right. Digital products. Everybody's familiar with those by this point. Courses. Right. But what about templates? Template sale. What about toolkits? Frameworks, packages? So many different types of digital products beyond just courses. We've seen a bazillion courses and course creators on the internet, right? And guess what? They're still highly profitable. I'm not discouraging you from creating your own course, but you got to come up with something. That's just one. Maybe a course isn't for you. Maybe you like designing templates better. Maybe you just want to play with web design, whatever the case may be. Video editing. You can design templates for people to use in video editing, right? These are digital products. You like producing music. You can make music that you can license out for people to use on various platforms, like the background music that I'm using on my platform. Or when I do my amateur rapping, when I buy a beat from someone on BeatStars or Omni Beats or something like that. There are lots of types of digital products. What you like doing? Like Smash said earlier, what are you passionate about? Yeah, for your information, Joker wasn't the bad guy. Hey man, never mind. I was finna say, nah, never mind. I ain't gonna say that. You're right though. The Joker wasn't a bad guy. You know, never mind. I ain't gonna say it. Hey, so check it out, Smash. Like when I got serious about YouTube and right and streaming, I said I wasn't gonna play the algorithm game. I was like, man, I'm gonna say what I want to. If I want to cuss, if I want to smoke, I'm gonna do all that. And I still feel like I'm gonna do what I want to do on my channel, but I'm trying to consciously be more aware of what I say, because I am talking to an audience. And I don't want to alienate nobody, and I don't want to make nobody feel weird. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to downgrade nobody. But I moved that opened the door, bro. I was finna say something, but never mind. You right. Joker was cool. Say you cooking. I'm glad I could come back and get these gems. Appreciate it, bro. Man, I appreciate you, man. Hey, man, my channel got some motion going, bro. I'm excited, man. I ain't gonna get in that on here, but I'm excited, man. I hope this carries over well. I hope people really enjoy what I do. And again, if you don't know, if this is your first time ever tuning in to Legit Hustle, the presentations like this one right here that I'm using right here on this screen right here, I give away these presentations. You can always have access to them at legithustle.com. That's legit-hustle.com. And I also have to let you know, if you've tried to access the presentations and have been unable to, my apologies. I had something break on my system and I didn't know it until my girl went to go get one of the presentations, and she was the one who actually found out that I had something break in my system, and I didn't even know that it wasn't working properly. So if you've tried to get some of the presentations and haven't been able to, that has been worked out, got that worked out today. I was unaware that wasn't delivering presentations to individuals. They wasn't getting the information. So my apologies, but all that's worked out. So you can always get these presentations that I do on Legit Motivation and the SMB podcast. You can get them for free, man. LegitHustle.com. That's legit-hustle.com. You said we almost at 1K. Oh, okay, that what's up. So, yeah, man, I'm getting hungry, bro. Smash. Man, we at 2.5 hours, man. We are at 2.5 hours, bro. This is probably the longest live I ever did. I probably won't ever do no more lives this long. This is too much damn talking, bro. Nah, I'm just playing. Man, I appreciate anybody who tuned in. But the reason I'm gonna let y'all know, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm just gonna whet y'all appetite. Please go grab these downloads, grab the presentations. Feel free to check them out. Man, I make them available for everybody. They're always gonna be free. Just go to legithustle.com, and any of the presentations that you've seen on Legit Motivation or SMB Podcast, you can grab it for free, man. You can look at it whenever you want to. Again, my Georgia boy handsome face won't be on there, but you can get all the other information, And if you ask nicely, I might email you a screenshot of my. I'm just playing. Fuck with y'all. I'm joking. Anyway, man, I appreciate everybody pulling up. If you enjoyed this presentation, man, please, by all means, definitely go Legit Hustle. Grab the rest. There's a lot more information in this presentation. This is a little over half of the presentation, so I'm gonna go through it right quick. As you can see, there's a lot more information in this presentation. Gets into building the assets, tokenization. So this is a very in-depth presentation. I just been yapping too long, and I'm hungry, and I'm ready to get off this internet. So I appreciate everybody for pulling up, man. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. Once again, just as a quick reminder, I do want to remind everyone that I, in fact, will be having the Ghost in the Machine group session at the end of this month. Again, my group sessions are not sales pitches. They're actual workshops. They're group consultation sessions because I want to bring value to the people that trust me, right? If you come to my program or you attend one of my events, I don't just want to try to sell you something. I want to give you something that when you leave, you can benefit from it immediately, right? And so that's what I hope to do for you. I hope you will please join me at the next group session at the end of this month. To find out more about the Ghost in the Machine, just go to events.emiasolutions.net. And on that note, man, y'all know who it is. It's your homie. It's Mr. Legit Hustle. And we're going to get up out of here, man. We're going to, I guess we'll ride up out of here to Smash. I feel like doing 2 songs tonight, man. We're going to ride out to 2 songs. If y'all don't know, I rap sometimes, real amateurly most of the time. And yeah, man, I do it for fun. Plus, it give me some entertaining to play on my show without having to worry about copyright issues and stuff like that. So we're gonna bump a couple songs, man. Thank you, babe. So yeah, we'll bump a couple songs, man. I think we'll do let's do On Your Own and Victory. Nah. Let's do Tales of a Hustler 3 and Victory. Oh, we'll close out with Victory. All right, man. This is your homie, Mr. Legit Hustle, man. I appreciate y'all for coming hanging out with me. And if you don't know, now you know. But my motto is hustle smarter, man. I'll catch y'all next time. Have a good one. Shabbat shalom for those of you all who is still some sunlight where you at. If not, I catch y'all. Shout out FBA. Shout out all my foundational Black American brothers and sisters, and shout out everybody, man. Do not get it confused, right? Just because we say FBA, this is not about hating you or any other group, but it's also important to love yourself. So that's what it is. All right, man, I'm up out of here. See y'all later, man. Peace.
Legit hustle. Legit hustle. Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 and shit like
Go get him, Uncle
that.
Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move at your pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace. Reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make foot on.
Legit hustle.
My bad, y'all. We ain't going out like that, man.
Legit hustle.
Nah, my bad. We're gonna run that back.
Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 and shit like
Go get him, Uncle
that.
Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move at your pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace. Reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make foot on the gas. Don't touch the brake, fuck if I crash. Fate is fate. Most times lessons, that's your grace. Lots at stake, watch for mistakes. Treat obstacles like they steak. Heavyweight, then clean your plate. Even if you ate already. Grown man shit gets heavy. War in the streets is really up. So lock and load and aim steady. You a hustler, time to prove it. You a gangster, who you move with. Better keep an extra toolkit. Pray to God to never use it. Just a clue for all the clues. Playing dumb, but don't be stupid. Like Steph Curry off the dribble. I don't even gotta look when I shoot it. This a warning for the busters and an anthem for the hustlers. Next time you fold your bundles, just remember, hustle told you. Keep your drip right, yeah, that's Nova. Keep your coat as cold, that's polar. Put that hustle over your shoulder. Carry that bitch till it's over. Yeah, it's legit hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers only. If you out here grinding, pushing, getting it on your own, trying to build something for yourself and your family, I'm talking to you. Yeah. So what you took an L? Everybody fall down sometimes, man. Get up, shake that shit off. Keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he gave up, it wasn't me, not in a hustler's pedigree. I knew the path that I had chosen wasn't free, nor should it be. A real leader's gonna stand up, give his friends a helping hand up. If he get one, then he got one. From the Lambo to the Phantom, only if it's just legit. All 366, he only swing for the fence. Legit hustlers never miss. Belt the ass, I got a list. Rub me wrong, you get your itch. Pop out, I hope you got a wish. Like a genie in this bitch. Hustlers and suck, never mix. Real is real, so don't forget. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? You dig? Yeah. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? Yeah, like I said, man, this legit hustle. Tales of a Hustler 3. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers, man. The go-getters. You know, people out there getting on their own. Yeah. If that's you, welcome. Tales of a Hustler 3. Here's your homie, Legit Hustle. Yeah, man. Speaking for the hustlers, man. No matter where you came from, you can be from the streets, you can be Ivy League, you can be stockbroker, man, you can be just a regular dude, man, selling fruit on the corner. I don't care, man. If you a hustler, you know you a hustler. It's in you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. Yeah.
I've worked too hard to stop now. But it seems like every time I turn around, it's somebody hating. I need to ride. Yo, yeah.
Rest in peace, Nip.
Yo, man, this one goes out to everybody out there getting it on it.
And every
You
other
know what I'm
soul.
saying? However you getting paid, how you paying your bills. Hopefully it's legit. You know what I'm saying? But even if it ain't, do the best you can, you know what I'm saying? And get it on your own. Yeah, West Coast, slow motion. Waking up the morning views of the ocean, freshen up your swag, roll up your neck back, 40 on your hip, dip to the west side. Between the trees and the breeze is where you reside. You let the 6-4 dip slow side to side. The good life, no longer stressing on that hood stripe. Your kids best, you can't flex, they doing all right. On top of that, today you rhyme with your lady. Yep, that's your baby. Play with her, they must be crazy. Had the hood going crazy when them shop doors open. Time cuts in the city, that's what you been promoting. But it's clear to see that every real G is positively positive to their community. Productivity, that's the slogan. Pushing back on the force is trying to stop us growing. They can't hold you back. When the door of opportunity opens up for you like a Cadillac, you ain't having that. You came too far to try and travel back. And plus that's way too whack. So when the plans stay rolling and the dope keep folding while your life unfolding, then you plans go. Never mind the haters can't make or break you. Where will hustle take you when your faith don't forsake you? Yeah, it feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life ends. You stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life ends. You stones. But don't expect it to be easy breezy. Besides being cheesy, it's slightly greasy like an Eskimo. Trying to sell your bro that don't love the pole. His ass still ain't free. The truth is you take the good with the bad. If it's worth it, then on purpose, it ain't easy to be had. But don't let it stop you, cause unless they pop you, then you gotta know the wind's already in the bag. It takes thick skin to walk amongst men that don't comprehend the grind that you're living in. Unfortunately, it usually proves to be negativity from friends and your family. But when you focus, you can't get caught slipping. You cool ranch while you dipping. Fly with equal, not chickens, and you bound to see between you and me that there's no enemies. And yes, success is proof. Me, I'm still noodle flowing in the booth. If you need more proof, go and check in the mirror, cause it couldn't be clearer that you're bound for the top. So stay on your grind and don't you dare ever stop and hit roadblocks. Act like mad cops, that only means you're just a mirror, homie, just watch. Ain't no need to be silent when you're made of iron. And for winners like you, there's no such thing as trying. It feels good when you're getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? This goes out to everybody out there getting it on their own. Like I said, you over there, feel me? The fade, all the barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, dentist office, you feel me? Soul food, restaurants, whatever you do, man. If you work for yourself, it's your anthem right here, man. It's my salute to you. Get it on your own. And if you employ other people, you're a real life hero. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Yeah. Keep getting it on your own.
Omni Beats.
Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to win it. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
In a world full of hunger remember growing up on stomach pains, trying to make it over puddles and avoid the dirty stains of the streets where the rain drinks more than just your pain, and everything you have to lose is everything you have to gain. It's a battle for your mind, for your soul, for your time. Either stay down in the mud or jump back up, get on the grind, trying to catch up in a race when you started from behind. So removed from the lead that you can't even see the line. And the ones who say they love you, the same ones who hold their hand from extending you the kindness that you needed to withstand. The same ones walking blindly with contempt for fellow man. They don't lose a wink of sleep even when they leave you stranded. Fuck them all, just in tall, never mind if you fall. Every hustler takes a L, without those you can't ball. It's a dirty, dirty dance, roll the dice, take that chance. Gotta tighten up your pants to stay a victim of circumstance. Opportunity comes at a glance, get me stepping like a band. If it's school, rap and dance, it don't matter, get your band to the sky up if it takes that to help you feel fly. Who am I to tell you not to when I'd rather see you try? It's a blackout to America, so I'm forced to make these choices. Ramen noodles or the bills while others riding noodles Royce. And then claim to be their leaders, whole time ignore their voices. Time to pay us what you owe us, they are just your first invoice. I suggest you pay up quickly, we are not that good at waiting. We have been too fucking patient, US government is Satan. And the victory was ours, you can quit the time wasting and the stalling, cause it's time Babylon should get to falling. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think by now we all know who the enemy is, right? And we all see who the enemy is, right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so it's not a person working next to the job. Probably ain't the person that lives down the street from you. Not to say it ain't some weirdos in all these places that need to get addressed, need to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. We got a unique situation with my kid, when your kid, and they look back at our generation, what they gonna see? What they gonna see? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shoulda ass motherfuckers? Or they gonna look back and say, hey, I'm on my daddy's part of that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come from that. One more thing I've got to mention, if you listen, I hope you listening. We cannot ignore our kitchen cause it's full of dirty dishes. We need mothers to be mothers so our children can be children. We need fathers to be fathers, lead them right and give them wisdom so our dreams can be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian, don't just talk it, you should live it. So I'm asking you, what would you do if on you this depended? For our dreams to be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Victory is all.